Okay, let's do the homework. So I'm doing homework 8, number 1. In this problem, you're asked to write a for loop that calculates 10 factorial. And 10 factorial is basically the product of 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 all the way to 1. So let's go to MATLAB and start strategizing or writing our code. So the product we're trying to calculate is this: 10 times 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I could run it the other way, so it could also be, or it's the same thing as 1 times 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if I run a loop through this expression, I expect that, so let's write a comment here just thinking about this. So the first loop, or the first iteration of the loop, will just have 1, and then second iteration will have 1 times 2, third iteration will have 1 times 2 times 3, right? And then I'll have 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 for the fourth iteration. Fifth iteration, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then my last iteration will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. And you expect this to go 10 times, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I want to run the loop 10 times, and every time I'm just recording this expression in the loop. So logically, the first thing, I need to create a variable that will store this number, right? So before the loop, let's just create a variable. Let's call it P1, and I'm going to initialize it to 1. Okay, and again, 1, when multiplying numbers, 1 is a safe value to choose, because anything multiplied by 1 will be itself. Then I'm going to start writing a for loop, and again, we want the for loop to run 10 times, as we found out here. So I'm going to use I as the counter. So I is the typical variable we use as a counter. Also K and J are very commonly used. So let's just say I equals initial value 1 to 10. Again, index equals values. So in this case, my index is I. My values, initial value 1, final value 10. And in the body of this loop, I'm gonna say P1 is equal to P1 multiplied by I, right? And the reason I'm structuring it this way, because so initially P1 is equal to 1, and so initially P1 is equal to 1 and I equals to 1. So let's write a comment here. Initially P1 equals 1, and for the first iteration I is also equal to 1, right? So basically, so this results in P1 being equal to 1 multiplied by 1, right? Because P1 is 1, I is 1, P1 is equal to P1 multiplied by I, so P1 is equal to 1 by 1, which is 1. And then for the second iteration, if we think about it, I is equal to 2, and now P1 is equal to P1 multiplied by I, which is equal to 1 multiplied by 2, which is equal to 2. And then my third iteration, let's think about it, I is equal to 3, and P1 is equal to P1 multiplied by I, which is equal to this expression, right? 1 multiplied by 2 multiplied by I, which is 3. So this will run through the loop and achieve what we planned for initially. So this should achieve the 10 factorial at the end of the loop. So I can just say end, and this will be the loop for this problem. So if I get P1, it is the same number as what I would get here, right? 3628800, 3628800. So let's rewrite this loop in a concise way. So I'm gonna say, so your loop will be like this: P1 is equal to 1, first line 4, I, which is your index, is equal to 1 to 10. Your body of the loop will be P1 is equal to P1 multiplied by I, end, right? So sorry, so we have an error here. I used PI instead of P1. So let's rewrite it properly and then just use the same name, and you're gonna get P1 increasing while you're running the loop. Alternatively, you could use it backwards, right? So I could say let I go from 10 to 1. So when running a loop, you don't always need to be moving in increasing increments. You could be decreasing as well. So if I say for I equals 1 to 10 to 1, and I run the loop, I should end up with the same result as well. So I have P1 is 1 for I equals 10 to 1. P1 is equal to P1 multiplied by I. And again, I have this error between P1 and PI. Let's fix this. So let's write this as P1. So be careful with your notation. And this is not working. So let's see, why is it not working? So P1 is 1. So if I run through this loop going backwards, P1, so initially P1 is equal to 1. For the first iteration, I have I is equal to 10. P1 is equal to 1 multiplied by 10, right? Which is equal to 10. And then for the second iteration, I have I is equal to 9, and P1 is equal to 1 multiplied by 10 multiplied by 9, which should make sense. If we go backwards, it should end up getting the 10 factorial, but we're not getting it. So what's the value for I? Let's see. So I is empty. Let's double check this. Okay, let's try and rewrite this with a -1 here. So here we go. So it worked once I included the -1, which is the step size. So it seems that in this version of MATLAB, just putting a decreasing array without including the step size will not work. So the loop will just break from the first time. So you need to add, if you want to go in decreasing order, you need to add a negative step size for MATLAB to comprehend what you want to do. And once we included our negative step size, it worked as expected, and we're able to get the factorial number which we want. Okay, so this is problem 8, homework 8, problem 1.